Hey everyone, welcome to Intentional Conversations. Conversations designed to inspire you, to ignite something inside of you, and to empower you to live a more intentional life that's full of meaning, fulfillment, and impact. So today is a solo episode, so it's me talking to you. And I'm feeling really called to talk about commitment. Here we are, it's the middle of February, and so many times we start the year off strong, right? We've got our vision boards and our visions and our goals. There's a ton of energy towards what's possible and where we want to go. And I recently read that I think like when someone creates a New Year's resolution, after day 12, it's done. 12 days. And it really had me thinking, like, why is that? And I think there can be a number of things. It can be we're not getting results fast enough. It's not shiny and new anymore. We hit a setback or two, or it's hard. And as a culture, we like things easy and comfortable. We also like things yesterday, so we don't want to wait a long time for them. And we like things to be like really new, and we do not like to experience any sort of failure. And so with all of those things, we come up against them and then we just stop. And so a question I ask everyone is, are you willing to commit even when things get hard? Are you willing to commit after a setback or two? And one way that I like to start off working with people is, how do you define commitment? And more importantly, what's your relationship like to commitment? I know for myself, I am always hesitant to commit because I like certainty. So if there's a 98% chance of certainty, I'll commit. Otherwise, it takes a little bit of convincing. And the truth is, there's no such thing as certainty. The other thing that I hear people say is they don't want to commit out of fear of that F word, of failure. But the truth is that having failures, having setbacks, having uncertainty is all part of the journey of it reaching our goals. So one of the things that I like to bring up, because we've all either seen our own children starting to walk or you've witnessed another child learning to walk. So really think about a baby as the baby begins to walk. So a lot of times they'll take a step, they'll fall. Maybe they'll take two or three, they'll fall. But they keep going, right? They don't stop. And there are times they get frustrated, they get a bump, they don't like it, it's uncomfortable, but they keep going. Imagine if a baby after like the second time was like, nope, this is too hard. I'm not doing this. It's not worth it. So it's about committing no matter what. It's about committing even when things get hard. Committing even when you're incredibly frustrated, when it's not going fast enough, when you're falling, when you have a setback or two. It's committing no matter what because you believe that much in your goal of where you're wanting to go. Something I like to do, you've probably heard it before, it's called the 90-day year or 12-week year, but basically the idea is you have your bigger goals, but that can be a little overwhelming. So the idea is to really simplify it. So break it down into, in this case, 90 days. And what that does is, I believe that simplicity is what counteracts overwhelm. So the fastest way to get out of the overwhelm is to simplify something. Like super, super simple. And that's what the idea of this 90-day year or 90-day plan, however you want to call it, that's what that is. So take your bigger visions and then we break it down. Okay, so for the next 90 days, for the next 12 weeks, what are my smaller goals that are going to move me closer to that larger goal? And then you work within those. And the idea is you're taking daily action steps, really simple, but daily consistent action that's moving the needle. Because here's the thing, those daily, it may seem so simple and like, how is this isn't even doing anything. But when you look back after 3 months, even after a month in some cases. But when you look back, you see the momentum. And what I love about action, or what I call like intentional action, it will actually get you in the energy of momentum and out of the stagnation of overwhelm. Because that stagnation of overwhelm, it literally keeps you stuck and you're not moving. So the fastest way to get out of that, you've got to move. And again, those simple daily steps, daily action. The other thing that's really cool about this is you're going to see the results. You're going to see the needle moving in the direction of those goals. But here's the great thing is that there's more of an inner shift that happens because you are now saying and doing and following through. Like you're not just saying, I'm going to do this. You're not just dreaming it. You're not just doing a vision board. You're now saying it and following through. So you are backing yourself. And here's the thing, in today's culture, especially as women, we're not trained to back ourselves. That's why, we love coaches, because coaches are able to reflect to us and to hold us accountable. And so it's always great to have someone doing that while you are building the muscle of backing you. And the best way to back you is to, once you say you're going to do something, you do it. You follow through no matter what. Even when things are hard, even when there are setbacks, even when you don't feel like doing it, you do it. So another thing, part of that 90-day period is we're always assessing, right? Because that's part of the thing, is that we're listening and we're seeing what's needed and what's working, what's not working, what needs more energy, what needs less energy, where am I getting distracted? Like really looking at everything. So that way you're continually setting yourself up for success. I personally assess every month. Like I do a very small assessment, and this will maybe be for another episode, but I do that. You could do the assessment at the end of the 90 days. It's really about whatever works for you in order to set yourself up for success and to set yourself up to take that consistent action. I like assessing monthly just because I like to really be monitoring it and seeing what's working, what's not working. Now, the thing is that when we're taking the action, right, what happens is that a universal law is that vision boards are great, affirmations are great, but if we're not taking the action, there's something where it senses there's a bit of a closed offness. Whereas once you start taking the action, the universal law is that the universe will provide for you. It's almost like saying, okay, they're serious. And then that's where you start getting more downloads, more openings, more magic happening. And I think that oftentimes that's how it kind of ties in with the assessment. We're seeing what's working, what's not working. You won't be able to know that if it's all in your mind, if you're not actually doing it. And I kind of like to use these intentional conversations as an example, because when I launched these, I was very honest that this is something that's lived in me for 5 years. And my story is that it's not ready yet. It's not perfect yet. And newsflash, if we're waiting for perfect, it will never be perfect, And I had a story I told myself that my tech team is one person. And how would the two of us do it together? I don't have a huge tech team, and I wasn't willing to invest in that. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it imperfectly. I'm just going to do it because I love it. And I'm going to figure it out as I go. And so the great thing is that as I started doing it, I started saying, oh, okay, what's working? What doesn't work? What do I like about this? What do I not like about this? What do I need to outsource? What can I do myself? So I think there is something around, you've got to get started. You've got to take the action in order to understand what's needed. That's on a tangible level. And then energetically, taking that action is opening you up to the miracles that are available and like the synchronicities and the openings and the downloads. So it's really about taking action, following through, committing no matter what. Now, something else to assess are our thoughts. And you've probably heard me talk about this before. Our thoughts create our realities. So that's another thing I'm always looking at. What are the stories? What's going on in my mind? And a lot of times we're quick to say, I don't know how to do that, or that's too hard. We really have to watch those thoughts and those stories. So instead of, I don't know how to do that, which closes things down, maybe it's just like, you know what? This is new. This is different. And I'm up for experimenting. I'm up for challenging. I'm up for seeing what's possible. Like that little shift can actually open us up. And so with the stories, we're very hard on ourselves. And so it's about you telling yourself, no more. We will no longer be saying we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not ready, whatever that internal dialogue is. Because the thing is that you're shifting that inner belief, the backing of yourself. You are willing to commit no matter what. And here's the thing, we can believe in the goal, take the action, and make mistakes, have a setback or two, and continue to take action, continue to believe and know that that goal is possible. Because here's the deal. Think about someone in your field or someone who you look up to who's successful, right? You deem successful. The truth is that that person is probably no more talented than you are. The only difference is that person committed no matter what. They took action even after failings, probably several times. They took action after setbacks. They took action when things were hard. They took action when they probably didn't want to do work. They kept going. That's the only difference. So, just to recap, it's about holding that big vision, believing in that big vision, and then simplifying it, committing no matter what, knowing that it's going to take time, knowing that, okay, it may not be shiny and new anymore, but I'm going to keep going, knowing that there will be failures, there will be setbacks, and knowing that you are committed regardless of all of that. The thing is that a lot of people, a lot of you who follow me know that one of the biggest things that I talk about is impact, because I believe that each of us has something unique that we're yearning to contribute. And through that, there is an impact that happens. And impact can be big, small. It doesn't have to be this huge, blow it through the roof impact. It can be, but it can be very simple. But no matter where you are on the scale of impact, the only way to achieve impact is through action. So you get to decide, are you ready to have the impact? Are you ready to step into that? Are you ready to commit no matter what? And if you are, you start by taking simple action daily, and you're in it for the long haul. Because imagine this, imagine in 3 months, in 5 months, in a year, imagine if you hit that goal. That can happen by taking simple, consistent action, assessing, listening, being in the flow, and still acting and still moving forward. It's really as simple as that. And it's a journey, right? Like, a lot of times it's not about the end. It's about the journey in between. And it's about what happens internally in those shifts and that confidence and that self-worth and that self-believing that come up through that. It's about having challenges, having failures, having setbacks, and still believing in yourself. That's what it's about, my friend. So I am here reflecting to you that this is possible, that you are possible, and your unique contribution is needed and it's necessary. And it starts by taking action. So you've got this. And of course, I would love for you to join this conversation. So let me know, what were your ahas? What are your insights? And most importantly, I would love to know what you are committing to. I would be honored to hold that with you. And as always, you know I created these conversations because I genuinely believe we move forward together and we grow together. So share this, share it with a colleague, share it with a friend, share it with anyone, really. We all are up against following through on our commitments, and we all have a yearning to contribute more. So share it out. Tell me what you're committing to. And thank you so much, as always, for joining me here. And I will see you next week for the next Intentional Conversations. And in the meantime, have a beautiful, intentional day.